We've got exciting casting announcements, intriguing genealogies, and plenty of book story speculation for the Wheel of Time Season 3 on Prime. So check the spoiler warning in the description and let's dive in. This is Unraveling the Pattern. I'm Lauren. First, we've had some major cast announcements specifically related to Elaine Trakand and the royal family of Andor. Funny enough, when these were first announced, there was a bit of a PR mistake, and some of the roles were switched. It was honestly really funny to see much of the fandom melting down when the corrections were made. If you're not on Blue Sky or Twitter of Time, you're missing out on some hilarious shenanigans. Anyway, the mistakes were corrected, and these are the correct official new cast members. Olivia Williams will play Queen Morghese Trakand, Elaine's mother. Callum Kerr is Galad Trakand, Elaine's half-brother, though the press release just calls him her brother. More on that in a bit. Luke Featherston is Gawain Trakand, Elaine's other brother and a fan favorite, if your name is John and you run the YouTube channel What Up, otherwise not so much. That said, the show has made me love characters I didn't care for in the books, so I'm hopeful that they'll do the same with Gawain. The biggest news? Shore Agdashlu as Elida Sedai, the Red Sister who advises Queen Morghese and gets deeply involved in White Tower politics. And finally, Nuno Lopez as Lord Gabriel, a surprising addition as I expected his character to be cut. This could mean exciting developments for Matt's Season 3 arc, which I'll get to soon. Before diving into story spoilers, let me briefly summarize these characters for non-book readers without spoiling the plot. That said, if you want to completely avoid even minor backstory spoilers, now's the time to bow out. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe before you go. Now, let's briefly look at the Trakand family tree. As we know, Elaine is the daughter heir of Andor, the most populous nation in the Westlands. The capital of Andor is Caemlyn. Andor has been ruled by queens for about 1,000 years, ever since the death of the High King Arthur Hawkwing. Fun fact, the Two Rivers, home to Rand, Mat, Perrin, Egwene, and Nynaeve, is technically part of Andor, though its people aren't too fond of being called subjects of a queen who largely ignores them.
I'm Elaine Trakand, daughter heir of Andor. You were my subject.
Currently, Elaine's mother, Morghese Trakand, is Queen of Andor. She was briefly mentioned in Season 2 when Varen Sedai investigated the disappearance of Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elaine, and Sheriam Sedai name-dropped the Queen.
But it appears the three were accompanied by a force of Queen Morghese's soldiers. So, I'm sure all's well. And we will hear from Caemlyn in a few days' time.
Before becoming Queen of Andor, Morghese wasn't the daughter heir. The previous queen isn't really important and her name doesn't matter, but her daughter heir, Tigraine Mantir, is a key character. About 20 years ago, Tigraine was married to Terengale Damadrid, a lord from Cairhien. They had a son, Lord Galadadrid of House Damadrid, or Galad. If Damadrid sounds familiar, that's because it's Moraine's family name. In Season 1, Moraine, who can't lie, mentioned she was a lady of a fallen house. In Season 2, she visited her sister Anver, and they alluded to the Damadrid family's disgrace in Cairhien. Moraine's father had 4 children, including her half-brother Terengale, Tigraine's husband. Around 20 years ago, Tigraine disappeared, presumed dead, and her mother, the Queen of Andor, also died. This triggered a succession war, which Morghese Trakand skillfully navigated thanks to her master of Deus Daemar, or the Game of Houses. She became Queen of Andor and married Terengale Damadrid, making Galad her stepson. Morghese and Terengale had 2 children together, Gawain Trakand, who became the first Prince of the Sword, and Elaine Trakand, the new daughter heir. Interestingly, both Gawain and Elaine kept their mother's house name, presumably because House Trakand was seen as stronger than the Damadrid family name at the time. The description of Morghese in the official Amazon press release has most of the details of the books right. It says, acclaimed award-winning actress Olivia Williams portrays Morghese Trakand, the Queen of Andor. Morghese did not inherit her throne. Rather, when the succession was left without an heir, she waged a brutal war against a half-dozen noble rivals, and thanks to her political savvy and utter ruthlessness, she won. She has sworn ever since to shield her daughter and heir, Elaine, from ever having to endure what she did, and do what she did. But far from being a tyrant, Morghese has become one of the best queens Andor has ever known. Although Morghese had 2 children with Terengale, she didn't love him. In the books we learned that Terengale plotted to kill Morghese and to become Andor's first king. But Morghese's lover at the time, who will remain nameless for now, discovered the plot and assassinated Terengale. Another key detail from the books, Andor's queens have generally maintained strong alliances with the White Tower. Morghese even trained as a novice, though her one-power ability was minimal. She received a Great Serpent Ring as is tradition, but really never leveled up in the tower. Elaine, however, has incredible potential with the One Power, likely equal to Egwene. It's rare for an Andoran queen to be strong enough in the One Power to become Aes Sedai, but Elaine might actually achieve that. Fans once speculated that the show might simplify things by combining both of Elaine's brothers into one character, as Gawain, because he was mentioned by name in Season 2 by Yasuka Sedai while she and Varen investigated the girl's disappearance.
On the 72nd page is the notation about the three girls' departure, apparently to attend Elaine's brother Gawain's name day ceremony.
Thankfully, both brothers will appear in the show. The official Amazon press release says this about Gawain and Galad. Luke Featherston is Lord Gawain of House Trakand, a royal prince of Andor and brother to Galad and Elaine. Gawain is a skilled fighter, famously handsome, and protective of his younger sister. Callum Kerr plays Lord Galad of House Trakand. Galad is a royal prince of Andor and older brother to Gawain and Elaine. Despite being the firstborn, he is not the heir to the throne. Andor is a matriarchy, and so the role of heir falls to his youngest sister, Elaine. These descriptions are mostly accurate, but it's odd that Galad is being called a Trakand instead of a Damodred, and that he's referred to as Gawain and Elaine's brother, not half-brother. Is this an intentional change for the show? Will they reveal the truth gradually, or is it to conceal Galad's connection to Moiraine and others? For now, we'll just have to wait and see. Do you think there's more to this than just simplifying things for viewers? Now, what about Elaida? Elaida is a Red Aja Aes Sedai with a rare talent with a capital T for foretelling. Without diving too deep, she believes House Trakand and Andor's future are crucial to winning the last battle and defeating the Dark One. Because of this, she's attached herself to Queen Morghese and House Trakand, hoping to secure a key role in the fight against the Shadow. The official press release sheds more light on Elaida's role in the show. Elaida is a ruthlessly powerful Aes Sedai of the Red Aja, as proficient in politicking as she is in channeling. She has a deep history with Moiraine and Swan, and scores to settle with both of them when she returns to the White Tower. Elaida is someone who believes in ends over means, and is willing to do anything to achieve what she envisions to be the greater good. So Elaida will be returning to the White Tower. Though Elaida hasn't been named in the show yet, she was referenced. Moiraine mentioned an Aes Sedai who was harsh to her during her novice training at the White Tower.
There was an Aes Sedai at the White Tower when I was a novice. She was everything that I wanted to be. She was strong, controlled, precise. She was terrifying.
We know this is Elaida because showrunner Rafe Judkins confirmed it when announcing Shohreh Agdashlu. He shared a story on Instagram saying, "Back in 2020, when we were deep in the blight we had built in Prague, sitting on a wet log together, Rosamund said she had a question for me. She was giving a speech to Rand about a woman who had tortured her at the White Tower, beating her to make her more powerful. I explained it was Elaida. And she said, 'Who do you picture when you think of this woman?' I said, 'Shohreh Agdashlu.' And she said, 'Perfect. I have a thing for older Persian women, you know.' 4 years later, it's a reality. A warm welcome as Shohreh joins the Wheel of Time. Many fans hoped Shohreh would play Cadsuane from later books, especially after she teased us with an adorable video attempting Cadsuane's Faw catchphrase.
Satisfied.
But I genuinely think she's even better as Elaida. Not only does Elaida have way more screen time in the books, but Cadsuane could easily be cut from the show entirely, in my opinion. I'm thrilled to see Shohreh as Elaida, especially facing off against Swan, Nynaeve Egwene, and hopefully Moiraine. I can't think of a more perfect casting. Like Rafe, I say welcome Shohreh to the Wheel of Time. Elaida is one of those characters you love to hate, and I have no doubt the show will make me love her in unexpected ways. And finally, we have Nuno Lopez as Lord Gabriel, not Gabriel, as my autocorrect insists. There's not much I can say about this character without spoilers, so here's the official press release. Nuno Lopez plays the role of Lord Gabriel, Queen Morghese's male consort. Both her lover and advisor, he assists in overseeing matters political and military. Andor is a matriarchal society, and so his power and influence, though vast, are always second to that of his queen, to whom his loyalties and services are sworn. I'll just add that Lord Gabriel has a vital role in Mat's story arc. So, let's dive into deeper book spoilers and speculation. In this next section, I'll discuss revelations about the Trakand family tree that aren't revealed until book 6 and beyond, and other major plot points, including storylines involving Mat from books 3 through 5. Watch at your own risk. There's been plenty of speculation about Mat's storyline and how the show might realign it with the books. As we all know, the original actor who played Mat exited the show near the end of Season 1, and Mat's recasting for Season 2 disrupted his story arc and led to major rewrites. I'm still worried the show hasn't given Mat the focus he deserves, especially around his luck and memories. Changes at the end of Season 2 also made me fear that they might skip his Snakes and Foxes experiences and his Ashandarai, his famous weapon. However, the announcement of Lord Gabriel has eased some of my concerns, and here's why. Here's how I think Matt's storyline could play out in Season 3. Purely speculative, as I have no inside information, but this is based on some leaks and reports that have been made public by sources like WhatSeries.com and WhatUp. First, leaks and cast sightings suggest Matt won't join Rand, Moraine, Lan, and Egwene in Ruidion. Instead, he's likely heading to Tanchico with Nynaeve, Elaine, and possibly others. We've also heard that Matt's fight with Gawain and or Galad will appear in the show, though it might differ from the books. Rafe Judkins teased this, saying, "This is an iconic scene from the book, and we are building to a believable version of it in the show, hopefully." Another important thing to know is that Tom Merrilin, the Gleeman from Season 1, will return in Season 3, further solidifying my belief that Matt's Season 3 arc will align closely with the Dragon Reborn, though he'll likely end up in Tanchico instead of Tyr. I believe some elements from the Shadow Rising will also be incorporated, but a bit more loosely. I think Matt and the girls will start Season 3 in the White Tower. I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll see Matt fully healed and separated from the Shadar Logoth dagger, hopefully with him shouting at the Aes Sedai in the Old Tongue, as in the books. Afterward, Matt will likely fight Galad and or Gawain, probably in the Tower Gardens rather than the Warder training grounds, as hinted in the latest Season 3 teaser. At some point, the girls will be recruited to hunt the Black Aja, and Elaine and Nynaeve will decide to travel to Tanchico, hopefully giving Matt a letter to deliver to Queen Morghese in Caemlyn. I'm also hopeful, though less certain, that we'll get a version of Matt entering a redstone doorframe, potentially in the White Tower. There's speculation about a shot of Min in the teaser, in what looks like the Panarch's palace in Tanchico. But what if this is a White Tower storeroom filled with objects of the One Power? In this scene, Min has longer hair and wears a dress. Could she be in her White Tower Elmendreda phase? I'm hopeful that Matt will find and go through a doorframe here, and that he'll be told to go to Tanchico instead of Ruidion. I also hope he'll learn his fate, to marry the Daughter of the Nine Moons, to die and live again, and to lose half the light of the world to save the world. While I'd love to see the snakes and foxes, I'm willing to accept if he learns his fate through another means, like maybe Elida's foretelling, or Min's visions, or some other method. Perhaps Elida will foretell these things to him during or after the Tower Gardens fight scene with Galad. However Matt learns of his fate, we all know if he's told to go to Tanchico, especially by an Aes Sedai, he'll try to run as far from Tanchico as possible, likely ending up in the inns and taverns of Tar Valon on a lux spree, where he'll run into, you guessed it, Tom Merrilin. Personally, I'm hoping we'll see Matt on the rooftops in Tar Valon, evading street thugs and a gray man, some of my favorite moments from the books. But I'm really hopeful that he'll meet up with Tom at some point. I'm hopeful that Tom will join Matt as they head to Caemlyn, hopefully to deliver a letter from Elaine to the Queen, where Matt might sneak into the palace as he does in the books, and he'll overhear Lord Gabriel plotting to kill Elaine and the girls. I think I agree with others that Lord Gabriel probably isn't Ravine, but he might be a mix of Samael or Asmodean with Ravine for the show. Given what we see about the seals and the Forsaken statues, it's hard to pinpoint Ravine, but I could see Gabriel being a combination of maybe Belal, Ravine, or maybe another male Forsaken. After delivering the letter to the Queen, Matt will likely feel compelled to chase the girls to Tanchico to save them from Gabriel's plot. Bonus points if he runs into Aludra and her fireworks. I'm hopeful that Matt will then find a second redstone doorframe in Tanchico's Panarch's palace, where he'll receive the Ashandarai, his foxhead medallion, and the memories of military leaders from the past. He'll probably also get hanged and rescued by someone like Min, Nynaeve, or Elaine. Notice these marks on his neck in the Season 3 teaser. I'd also love to see a scene where Matt's luck leads him and Tom to the herbalist's house, where she takes in Nynaeve and Elaine before they're captured by the Black Aja. While this happens in Book 3 and Tyr, I could see them moving the whole sequence to Tanchico instead. If done right, we'll all hope for a spin-off show all about Matt and Tom's adventures. Do I think all this could happen in Season 3? I know it's a stretch, but like I say, I'm hopeful. I always want things to stick closer to the books, and I think this is a great way to make Matt's storyline better. I'd really hate for the Shadar Logoth dagger tied to a Shanchan pole to become his Ashandarai. It would be such a letdown. Plus, he still needs his foxhead medallion. Could he pick it up in Tanchico or the White Tower instead? Or could someone like Lanfear give it to him? What do you think of my Matt storyline arc? Do you think they can fit this all in Season 3? One last thing, because it's fun. Just to show how complicated the Wheel of Time family trees are, Remember Tigraine Mantir, the daughter heir of Andor who disappeared about 20 years ago? Well, she didn't actually disappear. She left Andor after a foretelling from Aes Sedai Gitara Moroso, who told her she had to go to the Aiel and become a Maiden of the Spear. Yes, the same Aes Sedai who foretold Rand's birth and died right in front of Moraine and Swan. And yes, the same Aes Sedai was also involved in sending Tigraine's brother, Lord Luke, to the Blight, where he merged with Isam Mandragoran, Lan's cousin, and became essentially two souls in one body. The wolves call him Slayer. Anyway, Tigraine fled to the Aiel Waste, leaving behind her husband, Terengale, who she didn't love, and her baby boy, Galad, whom she did love. Tigraine eventually earned the Aiel's respect, was adopted into a clan, and took on the name Shail. She fell in love with Janduin, a clan chief, and became pregnant with his child during the Aiel War. Speaking of the Aiel War, it started because Laemon Damodred, Moraine and Terengale's uncle, cut down the Tree of Life, an important gift to Cairhien from the Aiel, just to turn it into a throne. The Aiel were so outraged that 4 of their clans crossed the Dragon Wall and went to war with several Westland countries to make Laemon pay for his sin, as they called it. It just so happens that Shail, formerly Tigraine, ended up fighting near Tarvalon right at the end of the Aiel War. She gave birth to her second son on the slopes of Dragonmount, but died during childbirth. Tam al'Thor found the baby and took him to the Two Rivers, where he raised Rand al'Thor as his own. So not only is Rand technically Andoran royalty by birth, but he also has a half-brother, Galad Damodred. This ties into the Aiel prophecy of He Who Comes with the Dawn, or the Dragon Reborn. The prophecy says he would be blood of our blood, mixed with the old blood, raised by an ancient blood, not ours. Rand's Aiel blood comes from his father, Janduin. The old blood refers to his Andoran nobility, and the ancient blood is the Manetheren lineage from Tam al'Thor. Pretty cool, right? I'm excited that we'll actually get to see parts of Rand's father's life through Rand's eyes in the show. This teaser shot shows Yosha Stradowski, the actor who plays Rand, portraying his father Janduin in a memory when he finds Shail dead on Dragonmount. I also hope this means we'll get to see Lord Luke /Isam /Slayer in the show too, because remember, Janduin ran into the Blight after Shail's death to hunt down Trollocs and Myrddraal. There he was killed by a man who looked like Shail. Presumably it was Lord Luke, Rand's uncle, who killed Rand's father, Janduin. Oh, and one more thing. Remember I mentioned that Morgase married Terengale Damodred after Tigraine disappeared, but then Morgase's lover assassinated Terengale shortly after Elaine's birth? Yeah, that lover/assassin who was super adept at Deas Daemar along with Queen Morgase was none other than the Grey Fox himself, Tom Merrilin. Not such a simple gleeman after all, was he? You gotta love Robert Jordan. And with that, thanks for watching, liking, commenting respectfully, and subscribing. Special thanks to these wonderful supporters on Patreon and here on YouTube. Until next time, let the dragon ride again on the winds of Prime.